people talk about oversaturation. That's honestly the best way to protect about oversaturation is, have your local news source come out and say that your town restricts short-term rentals.
What is the next, I guess, key to success as it pertains to maybe even just certain areas that are, either restricting Airbnb, or they're, putting making more and more barriers to entry there? What's been, maybe your plan there if something's been changed where you're no longer allowed to do Airbnb anymore? Walk us through some of those, potential risks and how you've mitigated those.
Yeah, so everybody talks about in short-term rentals the regulations, like regulations. What if the place gets regulated? Are there already regulations? And what I have found is, like, I look for tricks for supercharged demand. And to be honest, the easiest trick is regulations. And I mean that in twofold. One fold, like the obvious one of, all right, let's say, for example, let's say Asheville, North Carolina is extremely regulated, which it is. I actually have friends with short-term rentals in Asheville, but they have to be extremely creative on how they do it. So in a sense, because they have to be extremely creative and they're able to do it, they're able to earn a premium because other people aren't doing it. But also saying, we have two properties right outside of Asheville. So whereas Asheville, has strict rules, if you buy right outside, you're not competing with a bunch of Airbnbs in the city itself. So that's an example of using, short-term rental regulations to your advantage. The second thing is like, let's say there's like a news report. Let's say I have a property in a town and a news article comes out that town is thinking about doing short-term rental regulations, or they're already doing it. Or maybe they're going to do it, I'm zoned a certain zoning, which is okay, whereas other properties are in zonings where the city does not permit it. Well, now people aren't going to enter that city. People go online, they research, they Google, and they see that city may have short-term rental regulations. Bang, you've just built yourself a moat. You're not, and people talk about oversaturation. That's honestly the best way to protect about oversaturation is, have your local news source come out and say that your town restrict short-term rentals. And a lot of times, there's a difference between regulations on the books and what's actually enforced. I see that a city says they have regulations, but maybe it's getting challenged in court. Maybe something's going on where they're just not enforcing it at all. And that also gives opportunity. So in short, it's like, you can use regulations as one of the tricks to find supercharged demand. Obviously, be careful though. Be careful.